The Freewrite Traveller is a minimalist electric typewriter produced by Astro House, a small company that, as far as I can tell, only produces the Freewrite range. Like the rest of the Freewrite range, it's designed to put words into a document and nothing else. The idea behind this is that you'll be able to write more without the distraction of social media and the internet. And that is an ethos that I'm really into. As a result, I've supported several other similar devices in the past and absolutely love them. In the Freewrite range, the Traveller occupies the position of the ultra-portable Freewrite. As such, it's much smaller and lighter than the Freewrite Smart typewriter and uses a laptop-style form factor. The Traveller is also Astro House's current entry-level device, as it's cheaper than the flagship Smart typewriter. As such, some sacrifices were made, which is something that we'll get onto later. Before we do any of that though, we have to address the elephant in the room with Astro House's devices. They are extremely expensive. Now granted, the Freewrite Alpha is coming out next year and will bring the price of entry down quite a bit, but at the moment the Freewrite Traveller is the cheapest device and it starts from £527. Which is a lot for something that can only type documents, though sometimes you can get one cheaper on the used market like I did, as people often buy these devices aspirationally, intending to start writing, but then they realise that it's not for them. Regardless though, for the usual asking price of this device, whether you're buying it new or used, you'd certainly better get one heck of a writing machine, as for the same price as the Traveller, you could get a pretty solid laptop. So, let's take a closer look at the Freewrite Traveller and see if it's worth the high asking price. My first impressions of the Freewrite Traveller are really good. The device comes in a simplistic box with an image of the device and some information on it. Opening the box reveals the Freewrite Traveller and some accessories. Unusually, no reviews of this device mention the fact that it comes with a rather posh microfiber cloth for cleaning the device and some stickers that genuinely got a good chuckle out of me. Now, to talk a little bit about the Traveller itself. It's a fair bit bigger than I expected, being around the width of a small laptop, just much shorter. And to be honest, it's kind of the perfect size. It's small enough to take around in a bag, while also still being wide enough to support a full laptop-style keyboard. As for the construction of the device, it's made out of a glossy plastic that neither screams cheap nor ultra-premium. It's also a major fingerprint magnet. I don't necessarily have a problem with plastic, but for the asking price, I would have preferred a more premium material, like for instance, the aluminium that's used on the Smart typewriter. Now, to take a look around the device. On the side, you can see that we have a USB-C port for charging, data transfer, and for connecting external keyboards. Other than that, this device has no other I/O, which makes sense for how small and light the Traveller is, but maybe a single USB-A port for editing documents from a USB stick might have been nice, but maybe that would be better left to the larger devices in the Freewrite range. Other than that, the only thing to mention on the outside of the device is the rather fetching Freewrite logo on the lid. Overall, this device certainly looks very premium from the outside, despite being made of plastic, and it's sure to attract some positive attention when you're writing in public. When we open the device up, with the actually rather robust feeling hinges, we see an absolutely stunning white interior with a keyboard and two e-ink displays. This is where I think the device starts to justify its high price tag. First, let's talk about the keyboard. It's simply an absolute pleasure to use. The keys are a really nice shape and size and deliver really nice tactile feedback for a laptop. I'd say that the Traveller's keyboard most closely resembles classic ThinkPads, which is a very favourable comparison, as anyone who's used those keyboards will know that they're among the best on a portable device. Seriously, the Traveller's keyboard is excellent and clearly best in class. The keyboard is also home to quite a bizarre layout. Instead of Control, Alt and a Windows key, you have New, Page Up, Page Down, Send and Special, as well as some arrow buttons on W, A, S and D, which can be used by holding the New key and pressing them. These keys are used to navigate the device and perform specific actions such as creating new documents, changing keyboard layout, and more. This does take a bit of getting used to, but don't worry, just keep the instruction manual on hand while you get used to the device and you'll get to grips with it in no time. Finally, at the top of the keyboard, there's a power button, some toggles for the built-in Wi-Fi, and some buttons to select folders so you can keep your documents organised. As for the e-ink displays, they're excellent too. The larger top display is used to show what you're writing, whereas the bottom one is customizable and can be used to display a variety of information such as your current word count, the time, or nothing at all actually. Both of these displays are very sharp and look absolutely gorgeous. A lot of reviewers have said that the screen is too small, but to be honest, I don't see the problem. Even at the smallest font size, I can read what I'm writing just fine. Another thing that reviewers have complained about is the high latency between typing and the text appearing on screen, which is an issue inherent to all e-ink displays. But, again, I don't really see the problem. The screen is more than responsive enough for me to see what I've typed while I'm typing it, but maybe if you're sensitive to this kind of thing, then your mileage might vary. Hopefully the Freewrite Alpha, which is going to have an LCD display, should provide an option for people who are sensitive to latency. The only complaint that I have about the screen is that it isn't backlit. You have to be in a fairly bright space to read the screen. Even a dimly lit room isn't going to cut it. So, if you have fantasies about writing at night by candlelight, get the more expensive Freewrite Smart Typewriter, as that device actually has a backlight. Now, let's go ahead and turn the device on and talk about the software experience of this device. For the most part, you just turn the device on and start writing. Or, if you left the device in sleep mode, which you probably should, you can just open the lid and away you go. The only thing of note other than writing that this device is capable of is some basic document organization. You can put your documents into one of 3 folders and then view all the documents in each folder. As an example of this use case, I've decided to dedicate an entire folder to this very channel. There's a real sense of joy in just turning on a device and seeing it go right to its intended task. It's hard to explain exactly, but if you've ever owned a minimalist device like this one, you'll know exactly what I mean. The Traveller is also capable of syncing documents to the cloud. They all go to a service called Postbox, which is owned by Astra House. You can also sync with Google Drive, Evernote, or Dropbox. This makes copying text off the device super easy. Though, if cloud storage isn't your sort of thing, you can still copy text over USB. Frustratingly though, there are a lot of on-device settings that you can't change without a Postbox account. You need to go online to do something as simple as change the font size or add a new keyboard layout on your Traveller. I'm not really sure why these things aren't possible to change on the device itself, and what's particularly frustrating is that it's very likely that Astro House's devices will probably outlast Astro House itself because they're just so well built, which means that if you have one of these devices after the Freewrite servers have gone down, well, tough luck. As it currently stands, you wouldn't be able to change any settings in that situation. That said though, that's pretty much every aspect of the device covered. So with that done, let's talk about what the device is actually like to use. To test that, I wrote this very video script, as well as numerous other documents, on the Traveller. Overall, I found the experience to be very good and I have no major complaints. As previously mentioned, the keyboard and display are good, the display tilts far back enough, and the device can be used comfortably both sitting down or laying back. I also found that the display can be seen fairly well in a variety of conditions as long as there's enough light. so you'll be able to write indoors or outdoors just fine. Also, over the few hours that I was using the device, I didn't see the battery go down at all, so I can totally believe Astro House when they say that this device can get up to 4 weeks of battery life. Overall, I really like this device and I can see myself writing most of my scripts on it from now on. This thing was expensive, yes, but considering my workflow, I have no regrets. I genuinely really love this thing. So then, that brings us to the end of this review. Now that we're here, let's ask the big question. Who is the Freewrite Traveler for? Well, considering the high price tag of this device, it can't just be an impulse buy. So I'd say that it's exclusively for people who already do a lot of writing. For writers, I can say that this device is absolutely worth it. It's just such a joy to use, and given enough time, you'll probably make back your initial investment in increased productivity. However, even if this device is worth it for you, you'll still have to consider whether the Traveler is worth it over the flagship Freewrite Smart Typewriter, a device that isn't terribly much more expensive while offering a fair few more features. Personally, I'd say that if you want to take your Traveler to more places than just the coffee shop and back home, then get the Traveler. I plan to take this thing on buses and all sorts, which just isn't something that'd be easily possible with the standard Freewrite Smart Typewriter. Finally, before I end this video, I want to say that I'm part of Astro House's Freewrite advocacy program, so if you're interested in a discount on your Freewrite, check the link in the description for 10% off. But with that said though, that's it for today's review. What did you think of it? Will you be getting a Freewrite Traveler? What do you think of the device in general? Let me know in the comment section below and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.